Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today we are covering another Keith/Board Now request. We are covering Bride of Chucky, which was released in 1998.
Yep.
But before we go into the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So today, I am doing the Plum Deluxe Queen's Blend tea.
Oh, that's a good one.
I did up the fancy and put the cream, honey, cinnamon. I forgot what it's called. But anyways, it's creamed honey, whatever that means, with cinnamon. Yeah, it says creamed honey. But like,
so maybe honey and cream mixed together?
But in the ingredients, it literally says raw honey, cinnamon. That's it. So I think it's the way that they mix it together or something, because whenever you scoop it out, it doesn't feel...
It looks buttery.
Yeah, it feels very buttery. It melts very easily. Like, they did something to it. I don't know what they did, but I'm not going to question it.
Hey, if it works for you, it works.
Yeah. Anyways, that's in that too. And Queen's Blend has green tea, apple pieces, orange peels, blue corn flowers, calendula, bergamot oil, lemon essence, and vanilla essence.
Cornflower.
Yay, cornflower buddies.
So I am reusing tea, and it is the Mystic Dragon green tea from the Spice and Tea Exchange in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And it's got Sencha and Dragonwell green tea, cornflower petals, strawberry, and rhubarb flavor.
Yay. But thank you so much to Plum Deluxe for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our tea sippers, grab yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So for the summary, I'm finally reading the summary that I copied and pasted from IMDb, and no, IMDb, you did wrong. So
IMDb tried to do us dirty.
Yeah, like, it puts a complete... I'll let you read it while I actually explain what happens. So, a former girlfriend of Chucky's, yeah, it doesn't make sense, right?
I mean, he didn't discover her. They were already together.
Yeah, anyways, his former girlfriend finds him in the police evidence, and well, she gets a cop to bring. Anyways, she gets Chucky, and she revives him.
Took her 10 years.
Yes, and I think the original movie actually came out in '88, so that would be pretty appropriate.
Yeah,
like they planned ahead.
They did.
But she revives him, and she finds out that her interpretation of the relationship and his interpretation were a little bit different. She thought he was going to ask her to marry him, and he's like, "You're crazy." So she ends up just keeping him captive, and as Chucky do, he escaped and ended up transferring her body into a doll. And so it's them both trying to find bodies, and yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know.
That's about it.
Yep. So for entertainment, this movie, I was telling Jess, it's like the first Chucky movie and second Chucky movie, while they have funny parts, they do seem like they are trying to be taken at least a little bit more seriously.
They are mostly serious.
Well, this one, I can't see...
Oh no, it knows it's silly and leans into it.
Yeah, it like very much expands on the jokes, and the jokes are really funny, honestly.
Mostly.
Like, yeah, a good couple of them, like, made me giggle. But it's like, I love when, and I think maybe it's because they kind of realized that the premise was a little bit silly, and they're like, oh, we'll just lean into the silliness. But regardless, even though it kind of changed the mood of the Child's Play series, they continued to make movies with this type of tone afterwards, and I feel like it really kind of benefited
It did.
the series because it satisfied older fans, it satisfied newer fans that maybe didn't watch the original movies or just like, oh, it's a Chucky movie. But anyways, I feel like this is a very solid movie for the series for what it is. I mean, it's not a great movie by any means, but for what it meant for the series and the entertainment and stuff, I would personally give this a 7.75. I really like the jokes. I felt like were well, sometimes a little bit cringy. They were funny for the most part, and the kills were really interesting.
They were varied.
Yeah.
So that helps. It wasn't all the same thing.
Yeah, but I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen the second one, but I remember the first movie, they varied the kills a lot, too.
A fair amount.
For the most part. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that kind of kept up with the series.
I feel like they were a bit more creative in the kills in this one, though.
Yes, and I think for not a direct sequel, but a sequel to in a series, you do kind of have to figure out how to up the ante a bit, and I think they did a great job with that. They, made the kills more interesting. They added an additional character that ends up being another staple character to the series.
Definitely.
And I mean, Jennifer Tilly, like...
She's great.
Yeah, I love her. But it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to describe, but it's like I like the ebb and flows that they make between what's in the universe. What is Jennifer Tilly's name? I'm having a brain fart.
I know. I always just think of her as Tilly.
Yeah.
Jennifer Tilly.
Anyways, I like how it's like first their relationship is solid, like she's being very sexual towards him at first, and that's before he like shows himself as I'm back, and so he's already like in a good mood about it. But then like the relationship kind of crashes until like he transfers her into the doll, and then they start to like have a spark again, and then at the very end, the whole way that the two humans that they're trying to transfer their souls into beat them is by causing them to start fighting and turn them against each other. And I feel like...
Yeah, they're showing the cracks in the relationship.
Yeah, I feel like that was really smart of them to do, because it's like you already see that there's a rift, a huge rift
there are
in the relationship.
There are serious problems.
Like, they both have very strong personalities.
Yes.
And it's like, it's very much they either are in harmony or they just completely clash with each other, and there's like no in between. And
well, neither of them is really willing to compromise either. There's not very good communication between the two. So I feel like Cinema Therapy needs to do an episode on their relationship. That would be funny to watch.
Yeah. But anyways, it's like I find the movie, and of course, like it's the ridiculousness of like these dolls like trying to like getting in the back of the car and like following the kids and stuff like that. Like the whole scenario is ridiculous. So I find this to be a very fun movie. Like I don't claim that it's a good movie by any means, but it's consistent with what it's trying to do.
Yes.
And it's interesting to watch.
It's a fun, silly horror movie.
Yeah. It's like you watch it not to be scared, but to be like, to have some laughs with like horror elements in it.
There is some gore, sort of. It's light
gore.
It's light on it. It's mostly just blood. Like, they don't have that much actual gore.
Yeah.
Which I know you appreciate. So.
Yeah, it's a movie I can still watch. But, man, and then the ending. The ending.
They're setting it up for the next one.
Which I had completely forgotten that they practically planned to already do a sequel. I would assume so. Because, I mean, Seed of Chucky is after that.
Yeah.
And
I'm wondering if they already had that written.
yeah, or at least, like, oh, it'd be kind of funny if they had a son, and it was them, like, fighting over with each other while they have a son. Well, I'm sure we'll cover that movie eventually, but...
Eventually, yeah.
Whew. Anyways.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, but that's what I got for entertainment.
I give this one a 6.5. It's not my go-to Chucky movie, but it is funny. And it's one that it does not take itself seriously, which is good, because with all that's in this movie, it was a good choice not to take it seriously. And they actually end up leaning into the silly side of it. The premise itself of Chucky is a little silly. And while the original movie, and I believe the second one, does a good job of maintaining a more serious tone, The Bride of Chucky, just the title, sounds like a joke. So for them to lean into more of the comedy aspect of it, I think was a really good, strong choice.
Yeah.
And they had fun with it. You can tell that the people that were involved in making this film had fun with it, which is good, and it makes the movie better. Some of the effects, like the blood, were good. They were really good. The rest of the effects were kind of a mixed bag. There were some things that they did really well with, and other things you're like, really? That's what you went with?
Mm-hmm.
That, really? Post-editing? Why? Or that's what you chose for that kind of effect? But, because some of the things you could really tell were like latex. For, like, the face with the pins and all, or the nails in it. Which I think was a reference to Pinhead. But, it could have been a little better.
Did you also notice that as the cop was walking through the evidence, you saw Jason's mask?
I missed that.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, they actually made quite a few like other horror movie references, which makes me wonder if they're trying to infer that they're in the same universe.
Maybe. I mean, we had a Freddy and Jason crossover, so maybe. I would want to see Chucky fighting it. No particular reason. Just for the lulz.
I feel like it'd be one of those things where the fight would be quick, but the war would be long.
Yes.
Because it's like Pennywise would like just rip him apart, but then he'd be like somehow come back and be like, haha, you thought you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard, surprisingly hard, to kill Chucky. So... But it also uses fear as a weapon. And I feel like Chucky's not actually afraid of much. He inspires fear in others and uses it against people too. So I feel like it would have a difficult time trying to figure out how to use it
Mm-hmm.
against Chucky. But I feel like they would almost be at a stalemate.
And kind of part of the storyline. One thing I just thought of that I didn't mention is I did find it to be an interesting choice that it was very much two split storylines that collide, where it's like you learn about the teenagers that they're like trying to transfer their souls into, and I feel like that's pretty. I feel like it was a smart choice because I don't feel like they had enough content of just Chucky and Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, they needed something.
Yeah, it's like, on the one hand, I feel like they made the uncle or whoever he was.
I don't know if he was a stepdad or...
Yeah, but they made him too much of an asshole.
A little bit.
It was kind of excessive.
Yeah.
But it was at least, it kept the story interesting since they, like, flipped it back and forth.
Yeah. But like I was saying, it's a fun and funny movie, but it's one that you can also just kind of put on in the background and not really pay attention to. It's more fun if you watch it with friends, for sure.
Yeah, watch it once with friends.
Yes.
And then after that, it can be a background movie if you want to do arts and crafts, then have something in the background.
Or just want to kill time. So it's kind of fun and funny. It's not to be taken seriously at all. It doesn't take itself seriously, which is good. But it's kind of just
Yeah, that's why I love the horror genre.
Yeah.
Is like you do have a huge mixed bag between like truly scary movies and movies that just have horror elements in them.
Yeah. I honestly don't know if this one could have been made to be scary.
Not with Jennifer Tilly.
No.
At least.
But I love her character.
She does such a good job.
She really does.
Like, you believe that she's just as twisted as Chucky is.
I love her character. So, but that's what I've got for entertainment. I have more to say on Realism. Oh, though I did take a little bit off for weird, gross doll sex. A little bit.
See, I just thought that was funny.
It was weird and uncomfortable and not entirely necessary.
I can see how it's uncomfortable because it's essentially like kid-sized dolls.
It was, yeah.
But, yeah. I kind of blocked that little piece.
You wonder why they even have those parts.
Like, what is the purpose?
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's move on, shall we?
So for Realism, this is going to be very short for me because it's like I knew it wasn't realistic.
It's not.
But my brain was just blah during it.
Yeah.
Like, I was so entertained by it that my brain was like, Higgy Kurger, I can't think of anything realistic.
It makes up for it entertainment-wise. The kills themselves are fairly plausible. Do you want me to go ahead with mine?
No, mine's
Okay.
really quick,
Okay.
so...
I didn't know if you were still kind of wavering on a...
No, like, I feel like a 1 is pretty fair.
Yeah.
Like, first, like...
Good girl.
Excuse me, I'm not a dog.
I didn't mean it that way, but okay. Sure.
That's like, I saw this, like, thing that's, like, talking about, like, men's hygiene as, like, grooming as, like, we're not dogs. It's like, why just call it men's hygiene?
I think you're reading a little too much into it, but okay.
No, that's what someone else had said.
Okay, well then they're reading
and
too
I
much
thought
into
it was funny, and it made sense.
Oh my lord.
Well, okay, to be fair, the guy that posted it is a flamboyantly gay man, so I think he was just being...
Probably satire and kind of funny.
Yeah, like, he makes a lot of jokes, so
Yeah.
I think it wasn't meant necessarily to be completely serious. It was just, like, in good humor. But, anyways, so I would give it a 1. Just, first of all, voodoo stuff. Like, not how voodoo works.
No. Not at all.
And then...
I laugh every time they say the incantation. Every single time.
I did find it funny how they killed her when she's in the bath and she's just spazzing out and it looks so fake. Like, I'm pretty sure oh, isn't it true that when you're electrocuted, you more like seize up?
Yes.
So you'd be more still?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Also, the mass amount of water on the floor already. There was way too much water on the floor.
Which I'm impressed that she was able to fit a tub
Yes.
in her mobile home.
Yes.
That
was a good sized tub too, and there was plenty of space all around it. I was impressed.
Yeah. But, so, voodoo stuff, and then just the, some of the deaths. Like I don't know, both the nails and the glass, it's like I can see happening, but...
They're technically plausible.
But, like, like, yeah, for example, the nail thing, him coming back, him not actually being dead, I think was reasonable, because really, it would have to, one of the nails would have to pierce his brain, but it would still have to pierce it deep enough to actually kill him. Like, I mean, ideally, no one's brain should be pierced.
Yeah.
But it's like, from my understanding, even like a little bit of a pierce, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna die. It has to get deep enough in there where it stops functioning. And then the glass thing, it's like the only way that would kill them is if there were shards big enough and deep enough to hit, arteries, major organs, go into their brain.
Sever the spinal cord, which actually takes a fair bit.
So just little details like that make some of the deaths, you're like, that might be able to happen, but it also is not a guaranteed.
It feels almost like an episode of 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yes. For real.
Just a little bit.
Because all of the deaths are like so unique. Like they're not your typical. Aside from the first one, I feel like the first one was the most boring. Where the guy that got handcuffed to the bed.
Yeah, and the cop that blew up.
Yeah, that's true. I did kind of find it funny though that she's like in the bedroom crying and the guy's just lying there and she's just like, move. She's crying.
Scoot over.
Yeah. Oh, but and then like her trying to hide the body just in the trunk and not noticing the hair until like right before the guy came over, and it's like, I'm sorry, not that I would commit murder, FYI, but if I did, which I would not, I would be damn sure that whatever container I put the body in is like sealed and no way of opening up, because whenever the guy put it in there, it flopped to the side. She's like, oh shit, like her heart stopped for a moment. I'm like, ma'am.
Sorry. Just the thought of you committing murder. even if you did, you wouldn't be able to keep it to yourself long.
How do you know? You don't know my life.
Woman.
I got myself choking down.
Yeah. Let's be real here.
But,
you can't lie for anything.
yeah,
They'd
like the
find you
cops
out in
would
a
be
heartbeat.
like...
They'd show up at the door and you would break down.
No, I think I would probably make it to, like, where they start questioning me, and they'd be like, it's like, did you kill a so-and-so? I just start cackling. I'm like, no! Yeah, okay, so for those who don't know me well, we often will play games where you have to try and deceive other players, like card games, board games, whatever.
And those are not her game.
Yeah, like, people will literally turn to me and be like,
start chuckling.
are you the blah, blah, blah? And I just am like, no. I just start
Turns
cackling.
red, really trying to hold back laughter.
Yeah, like, I
Yep,
can't
it's her.
lie. I can't lie.
Nope. Which is not a bad thing.
There are times, though, that I wish I could.
We got really off topic. It's just, I'm sorry. It was just so funny. I couldn't keep that in.
But anyways, movie purely for entertainment entertainment purposes. Pretty much nothing realistic about it in this one. It's like there are horror movies out there that should be realistic, that
This is not one
benefit
of
from
them.
being realistic. But yes, this is not one of them. I'm glad they went the way that they went, but that does mean that it scored low for realism.
Yes, for sure. I was going to give it a 1 as well.
Yay!
Yeah, it is not realistic at all. The tattoos on the guy in the beginning even looked painted on or like Sharpie.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
They were not real tattoos.
I know they didn't look great, but...
No, unless they were really, really, really new tattoos. And no.
Well, but that makes sense, though, because whenever they show, after his murder, they show his, like, original picture, it would make sense that those weren't necessarily real tattoos. They could have been, like, stick-ons. Because he seemed to be pretty kind of fake. Like, he was just trying to impress her.
Maybe.
He was trying to, like, he was going through a phase.
He did seem like a bit of a wuss, so maybe.
So, yeah, I think, especially since they showed what his, like, real name was and stuff, I got the impression that what he did was either a phase he was going through just to impress her, or just, like, all in all, fake.
Yeah, and then the too much water and the flailing around in the bathroom scene.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every kill. And the when they opened the coffin, I was wondering why they had rats. Like, that was a choice. That was a choice. 'Cause bugs, I feel like, would have been a lot more appropriate.
Yeah, rats would... I don't think they would have had a way to be able to get in there.
They might have, but really, honestly, there shouldn't have really been anything in there. Because it was 10 years later. So the body is long since decomposed.
Unless if they had really good embalming methods.
Really good.
Yeah,
But-
we should have looked that up. How long it takes a body to decompose with embalming versus not embalming.
I mean, it was kind of a crappy coffin, too, so bugs would have gotten in, good embalming or not, and would have done what they do. So again, 10 years later, there would have been nothing left except bones and clothing.
Yeah.
So, rats were a choice. I feel like it was probably for the, rat, creep factor kind of thing.
Which, rats are cute. I'm sorry. I don't
They're
find
not
rats
scary.
scary.
At least not to us. I know some people that they do not like rats
The only
or mice.
time that I freaked out was, I I was staying at my aunt and uncle's, and they live on a farm, and a mouse went into my room. And it wasn't because I was scared of the mouse. It just startled me.
Yeah.
Because they're so fast.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan, but they don't scare me. It's a rodent.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want it to touch me. Like a wild one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know that they carry diseases and stuff. But like, the cute little pet ones, like, no, I want one.
I wouldn't want one, but they don't bother me. So, but yeah, that was a choice. The effects, again, were a mixed bag. Some were good, some were just a choice. Kind of a poor choice.
Yeah, like, I don't know about you, but the guy with the nails in his head, that one got me the most.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
And when the waterbed exploded and it was like partial blood explosion, it was ridiculous. And again, it was a choice. I have mixed feelings on the couple going ahead with the wedding because they just went through this big traumatic experience and they suspect each other. So I have mixed feelings on that of whether or not it would have actually happened.
yeah, they're heavily in the honeymoon phase. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you have those kinds of doubts, I feel like it would have been more accurate if they each found any and every excuse to keep putting it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no, we shouldn't do this because they might recognize us. We have to lay low. What if they put out the word to this area? So, I feel like it would have been a little easier and more plausible for them to keep throwing out excuses after excuses. And then finally one of them be like, okay, do you just not want to get married? And then they have the argument there.
Yeah.
Of they suspect each other.
And then I could also see, like, they wanting to stick together because they're like, oh, if the other one knows that I know that they killed someone, then they're gonna try and hurt me. Mm-hmm. But then I can also see it the other way where it's like, oh, if they're going off on their own, then they might, like, try and run. So it's like, that one, kind of a mixed bag. I can see it go either way if they did it like that.
Yeah. But I feel like they could have played that better for sure.
Yeah.
So.
It was kind of funny, though, how it's like they called the same friend. And he's like, wait, what?
The GBF.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was really actually helping them work through their issues, and it was working well until he saw the body. That whole scene was hilarious, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But that's what I had for Bride of Chucky. It's not a realistic movie. Like,
overall, if you don't want, like, scary horror movie and you enjoy comedies, I feel like this is it's a dark comedy.
It is. There are better ones, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's a silly one.
Yeah.
So, it's a fun, silly one.
Yeah. Yep, but thank you for joining us today, and please comment on what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea and keep up to date with our content, you can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and most places you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, we do have a public Discord if you want to eventually be able to vote on future movies coming out, or you want to see a more updated live feed on upcoming episodes and announcements, and as well as for live streams. And
merch.
Yeah, and merch. Or if you want to just join a fun horror community where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games.
If you'd like to support the podcast, please subscribe, like, and share our content. If you'd like to support us monetarily, we have our Teespring and PayPal, or we have our affiliate link with Plum Deluxe available. It does not affect the price of the tea at all. It just allows us to continue to do what we love. And all of the sites mentioned will be linked down below, including the Discord. And until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy. Bye!